Everyone did it. No one really struggled that time. Hello, welcome to Movie Baiters. Kirk is making me use a different mic than I usually use. David rolled back, and that's fine. Sorry, that my we're in the man cave. And there's
this is a manly cave.
No. This is very important because you're another married man. My wife and I do not believe in man caves. But we think it is funny to call it a man-cave, which is someone else's joke, and it's from Solar Opposites, which is from the same guy who does Rick and Morty. One half of them that created it, except that guy's a tool. So
is it Rick or Morty?
No, it's not Rick or Morty. It's Justin Roiland.
Oh, it's the same voice actor.
Oh, okay.
It is. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. I actually really like Solar Opposites.
Oh, good. So you get the joke, man-cave.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're starting the show this way. Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
And this week on the series of episodes, we're going to be talking about Venom, specifically Venom: The Last Dance. We have two guests this week because in my infinite wisdom, I realized that one of them is a big Spider-Man fan and the other one I knew as a kick punch guy, and it happened to be Venom weekend. So I had the guests last week introduce each other. Do you two not know anything about each other?
I'm aware. I think I know more of you than you know me. I've worked on a set with you. I've listened to some of your podcasts. I'm just aware of your achievements.
Really?
You've been on podcasts? You've been on other podcasts?
Listen,
David?
let's not go. Wait. Hold on. Because this could be going into it. What podcast are you referring to?
I believe
with Alan Tracy.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been on the Alan Tracy podcast. That was Film and Beyond. Now
that was a while ago, but. No, a long time ago, my wife and I tried to do a podcast together. Wow. We were very young, and because people were doing it, and we very quickly realized that we had nothing to say. It went so badly. It was something that I just felt like would be so fun and exciting to do. And we started by just literally telling the story of how we met each other and fell in love. And it was like this cool, and it was such a strong start. And then we were like, all right, now... Now what are we going to talk about? But for a split second, that's what I thought too. And I was like, how could you possibly have listened to that? Oh, right. I forgot I did the thing with Alan Tracy. I was like, that would be really embarrassing if Tristan had somehow listened to.
Is it still out there? What was it called?
This is like...
Someone's Googling this.
This right is now. Wherever the JFK files are. That's where this thing is stashed. Okay. So
my garage?
That's where... Is that in your garage too?
Do you live with Joe? I'm going to wait for you to get that. Joe Biden?
My roommate's name is Joe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it. I'm like, wait, how do you know my roommate?
How are you nailing these coincidences, too? With the
Well, I think it's all Tristan. So the coincidence king, Tristan.
yeah.
Coincidence king Crawford.
Coincidence king Crawford.
CKC.
Yes.
Your nickname. But you were asking about introducing each other.
Tristan, can you introduce what you know of David Alvarado? And then, David, can you introduce Tristan?
Absolutely.
Okay, Tristan, you're first.
This is David, actor, writer, director, producer. Usually works with his fantastic wife, Teresa. They have won multiple awards with their films. The most recent, Tuesday in Stone, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I believe you guys come from a Christian background. So you make sure that faith is strong within the two of you. It's not normally presented in your work, but it's still something that guides you. You guys are part of a pretty kick-ass stunt team. I know you guys usually try to put that in your work, even if it's not your own work, it's someone else's work. I just feel like you as a duo are very respected among the film community, as far as I can tell. But just you and yourself, you just seem like a stand-up guy, and you do great work based on what I've seen.
Wow, what an introduction, David! How are you gonna top that?
I don't enjoy. I thrive on criticism and people shitting on me, so this is already going terribly for me. This is already. Thank you, that was very kind. I don't know as much about you other than aware of just the way we're aware of people in this film space, and I still feel kind of new, ish to the Minnesota film space. So I constantly see people, and I'm like, who are mutual friends and stuff. I'm like, I maybe kind of know that person. Do you remember what set it was that?
Yeah,
you were saying?
Dragonity.
Wait, but I wasn't actually.
Did you not come to set one day?
I did not come to set.
You did not come to set one day?
No, I like dropped Teresa off one time.
Ooh.
I guess my aura is just that powerful that just
Then
somehow
maybe we've never been on a set together.
I honestly think we just shook hands for the first time. So I will now introduce Tristan. Great handshake. I like the style. I like the selection and beer choice. So far, seems like a very pleasant person, and I cannot wait to get to know Tristan more. There's my introduction.
Tristan, I see you as a kick punch guy, and wait, what were you gonna say?
I said that was lovely.
Yeah, it's super lovely. I'm touched. Why aren't we that lovely to each other?
I'd say we are occasionally lovely
Because
to each
we're
other.
brothers? Okay, good.
Well, I gotta bring you down a notch every once in a while, you know.
I'm trying to bring you up a couple notches. Tristan, see, that was a backhand
Yeah, it was good.
I know you as a risk taker. That's what I see you as in the filmmaking scene. I see you at Screaming Off Screen. You learned to play piano once. That was cool. You made an animated, or do we call it animated, or we call it...
If you're referring to Fanpack Platypus, I prefer mixed media. If you're talking to the general audience, animation, but if you know how it was made, more mixed media, just respectfully for the other animators that know how the process works.
Is it because it was rotoscoping?
If it was just traditional rotoscoping, which is you film something and then you draw frame by frame, that's animation. How I did is I did film it, but then I did a bunch of different custom presets in After Effects where I didn't have to do the hassle of frame by frame. So essentially motion capture, layman's terms, it's not this, but layman's terms, throwing a filter onto it. Custom made filter for the character, but then animated backgrounds, and my roommate Joe that you brought up also did a bunch of the objects that the main character interacts with. So mixed media all around.
Wait, when you say you did them, did they exist in physical space? And then
Nope, he hand drew them.
Okay.
And then with those hand drawings, I put those into what I did in After Effects just so the cohesion is there.
And before that, I became very aware of you from the dumpling. Oh, you've seen the dumpling?
Yeah, both of those, Fanny Pack Platypus and the Dumpling, like absolute darlings, I thought. Both of those projects. Fanny Pack Platypus, did Cam Jones do music for that?
Yes, he did.
Who is also a crazy stunt guy.
He's a fantastic.
He's so fantastic. I didn't meet him until like this when we made Tuesday in Stone. I had a very brief fight moment with him. A lot of the time, my experience has been like working with people that I'm kind of doing my part, but I'm also doing a little for them as well. Because it's not like there's, a huge stunt fight community in this town. And that was the first experience I had working with someone who I was having some trouble with a few moments, and he was making me look better. And I was like, that's what you need.
Cam Jones is amazing. When I first met him, I defined him as a stunt man, and then later on as just purely an actor. But now at this point, he is a filmmaker, because yes, he did compose the entire score for Fanpack Platypus with his father, Maurice Jones. They did beautiful work. Cam has, I know I'm saying this wrong, but he has a music degree, and he's just...
Wait, how are you saying music degree wrong?
I don't know what kind of like what degree it is.
Okay.
I'm sure there might be I got a film degree, filmmaking, production, whatever. But no, so he does that. He does obviously fantastic stunt work. I just worked with him on my most recent project with Alex Rumsey, Dogfather, and then he's also in the Dumpling at the very beginning as like this 80s action star.
That's right.
And he just has that presence.
Yeah.
He could be that next Arnold Schwarzenegger or that Stallone or the Tom Cruise.
He's got a very unique look too. And I thought we were just going to... Do you know Cam Jones?
No, I know. I've seen the Dumpling, so I've seen it, but I don't remember this. And I've seen Tuesday in Stone.
Yeah, it was interesting. He's the one who's like just about to hit Teresa, and then you go like a little slow-mo moment. Yeah, I kind of expected just this stunt thing, and then he had this like presence with these close-ups that I was like, oh, we got to like use this. This is great.
He's a very respectable guy on set. And just a good friend in general. I communicate with him decently where it's just like, hey man, how you doing? Him and I feel like are very empathetic with each other with emotions, and he's just like that in general. Sometimes he just hits me up. He's like, hey, how are your projects going? Nothing to do with him being in the project. He just wants to check in. And on set, he is just very supportive of everyone's craft.
He's like got too much going on, and he's too nice though, because he's like feels like a little...
He doesn't watch any of his work.
He feels like a little brother to me, so I for sure like... shit on him a little bit when I can. Now I'm like singing his praises, so hopefully he doesn't hear this.
Let's talk about Cam Jones some more. So he doesn't watch his own work. Is he like an Adam Driver type?
Adam Driver doesn't watch his own work?
Yeah, he walked out of, I think, a Fresh Air interview once.
Have you seen some of Adam Driver's recent stuff? There's a reason.
Are you talking about 65?
Slam.
Are you busting on 65?
I'm busting on Megalopolis.
Oh, no. We are Megalopolis stands in this house.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Really?
We are not.
But no, Cam Jones, he's just a very busy man. He is a paralegal by day, superhero by night, apparently. So he's just very busy, and he is always making sure to check in on me with my festivals that he is a part of. Like, hey, how did Fanny Pack do? Because he did the music. Oh, hey, how'd the dumpling do? And I don't think it's because he's embarrassed to see his work at all. I think he likes to see his work because as a stunt man, you gotta make sure that your stuff is looking good, right? And he's completely aware of that. He is just so busy working on other people's projects. He was just on your guys' this weekend, and then he's on another one.
You know, he wasn't this last weekend. He is going to be shooting something on Saturday. That's going to be quick in and out. Just have him do like a crazy stunt. And
what's this Block Alvarado project called?
So I think it's working title. I don't know what the
working title.
It's yeah. I don't know what the eventual title is going to be, but I gotta say, after the first thing that I ever directed, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna age 5 years because of this. Like, directing is so much harder than I ever would have thought, just in terms of all the different departments you have to like be responsible for. And then we made Tuesday and So On. I was very happy with that like step up, but also like there's so many things I want to be better. Nathan at Z-Fest last year approached me and Teresa and, wanted to do some kind of collaboration. A huge part of what excited me was like, I don't have to direct something. Like I can be a contributor and collaborator and everything, but not have, cause that's, a heavy burden. I think if you're taking it seriously, that's a heavy burden to kind of take on. So,
yeah, I completely understand what you mean. With a lot of my projects, it kind of feels like I'm mostly producing them. People accept to be a part of it, but like if it fails, it fails on me. If it wins, we all win together. At least that's how I try to do it. It's everyone's project, but it's my failure, and that weighs on me a lot.
Which department weighs you down, Which department bothers you the most, or gives you the most stress? You find the most difficult
to work with or to do?
To answer both questions. Which department is the hardest for you to do? Which department is the hardest to manage? Those are the two questions. Whoever wants to go first, David. Why don't you scoot towards me just 2 inches? We've got kids stuff in here, and we're playing Venom muted in the background. I know you're wondering, podcast listener. Tristan, you ready? You look like you're ready.
So I think hardest department to do is directing for me.
By the way, that plane in Venom 1 would cause a real problem for the symbiote.
Don't even.
Okay, sorry. I didn't say anything.
No, it's a great tease.
Okay.
It's a great tease.
As I was saying, directing, just because, like I said, if it fails, it fails on you. I don't think if sound does their job poorly, which they never do, but if they do it wrong, that doesn't fail the film. The director fails the film. The hardest to work with, I'm trying to think of who I'm going to offend the least.
This is a political podcast. I mean, it's a debate podcast. People can disagree with you. It's fine. In fact, we're supposed to disagree. We're just establishing.
It might be.
I like it.
Producers / if they were the writers of the film too. I don't have any prime examples, but there is like this is my project, so you gotta make sure I'm lending the project to you, director. Make sure you treat it well, and then you start shooting. And they were like, actually, I kind of thought it would go like this. I've had some experience a few years ago with that where it almost felt like they're trying to take over as director. I'm like, hey, you gave me the script. We're working with the script. You can make production notes, but like, please let me try to do my best to highlight what you wanted. Because as you were saying, directing isn't easy. It's not like coming on set and being like, okay, let's set up the camera. I'll be back in 5.
Dude, honestly, I did theater all growing up. I never did film acting or anything. So it was only a few years ago that I got on my first movie set acting. And then was like, one of those things where you realize, oh, this isn't some wizardry, sorcery thing happening. Like, these are just people, like I could learn this, I could figure this out. And then pretty shortly after that is when I started wanting just the idea of like, I want to try to make something. But the idea of from before, when I would be younger and think about like a movie director, there's like the director's chair, and I was like, I don't think I've sat down once on a film that I've been directing, because like there always is something you could be doing. You know, like there always is something you could be doing. So like there's not, for me anyway, I kind of just go anyways, but it's like, it's on me. You know, like I feel like I have to set the tone of like being the hardest working person there, rather than like leaning back. Well, DP, yeah, that's a good point. DP legit doesn't stop.
Every set I have been on. Okay, for example, the project I just finished shooting with co-director Alex Runcie. We were shooting for 5 days, and the DP, before we got filming, he was like, make sure there's a good crafty and all that. Whenever we started eating meals, almost every single day, he is the one still setting up the camera and lighting, to the point where, and he had Adam Olsen, fantastic, yeah. He's fantastic. So he has decades of experience on top of me.
Isn't he a professor?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I met him recently at a festival.
Minnesota Community College. I know MCTC. They changed the name.
He does Misconception, right? Or He's got a web series.
Oh yes, he does do that. But there'd be times where I just feel bad because I'm like eating my little mac and cheese, and he's like getting the camera set. I'm like, please eat. And then later I find out that he was sad that he wasn't able to eat, but the show must go on. I think a shooting can happen if the director is taking a 10-2, but nothing can happen if the DP isn't ready to go. So
yeah,
sorry, totally. I didn't mean to cut you off from your thought.
The thing is, I mean, you're exactly right. Like I think because so far the two things that I've directed, there's the directing side of it, but then I'm also doing fight choreography and stunt coordinating. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not setting something up with camera, I'm either rehearsing with actors or literally rigging a stunt for either myself or someone else to go into. So it would be interesting to kind of be directing on something that I'm not also going to be in, you know, or maybe not like in a stunt capacity. Like I bet I'd get kind of an even different look at it. I'll answer the same question. The most difficult to work with as a director, or just like in general?
You guys both have been producers, so if the director does a bad job, yes, they can make the movie look bad, but if it's not their money, because we all kind of work at we're getting grandma's money or our DJ winnings too.
Wait, is your grandma giving you money?
No, I don't have a grandma.
Neither do I. The anniversary of mine's death was today.
Okay.
I don't mean to lower it, but
no.
That's actually why we're here.
Yeah. What was her name?
Sandy. You know, recently it's come to my attention, and we'll get into this in the Venom segment. My grandma gets into that. So she's a part of that. So I'll get into that.
Wait, your grandma influences how you feel about Venom?
Spider-Man, but yes.
Okay.
The same year before she passed away.
2001.
Yes. She, I believe it was 2002. She sat me down and put, you're going to like this movie. I'm like, okay. Puts it on. And the iconic
it was 2002
Danny Elfman.
then, because the movie came out in May, and then it was on disc or
So anyway, she
VHS.
put the first Spider-Man on for me. I'm like, this is amazing. Thank you. Spectacular joke.
Amazing.
That was a joke because there's spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah. You know it's good when Kirk chimes in. Amazing.
Yeah, got me into Spider-Man.
You know always.
No, I mean, are we going to explain every joke?
He's just chilling the whole time.
Yeah.
Amazing. That was a great contribution. I'm going to answer with a non-answer. The most difficult to work with is the person who is trying to work outside of their scope. And that could come from anywhere. Again, I'm not going to name any names here because I haven't worked on enough things for it to be like, he could be talking about anybody. But
that's why you should just say a name so you clear the conscience of all the other people.
If you're listening to this right now, he's talking about you.
He's definitely
talking about you. No, there have been times that like I may be getting ready to work with someone who's about to have to do some kind of stunt. And it could be super simple as just taking a hit or a punch or doing like a big fall. And then someone who just not only has no place in that department, but also maybe like doesn't have the expertise, you know what I mean, who starts like jumping in and coaching that person or something. It's an important skill to be able to shut someone down without making them feel like they're shut down.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, because obviously no one's going to work well, no matter what the circumstance, if they feel shut down. And I actually just had something kind of similar this last weekend happen where it wasn't in a stunt thing actually. It was we had some child actors on set.
Oh no.
And one of my karate students I brought in to do like a little, not even a fight, like he literally just had to get like, backhanded.
The kid got backhanded?
Yeah. I love that reaction so much. A kid was struck? It's so funny, dude. I know, I love it. No, but it's like...
I don't hate my kids, just so we're clear. Jeez.
So this is the same... This is the same kid who was in Love, Revenge, and Karate.
Okay.
And
I saw that.
and he also... We used him in the very first thing we ever even made and just put on our YouTube channel. The Doritos thing, yeah. So it was the same little kid. And his head has gotten so big since then. And he goes around school and he's like, yeah, I'm in a video that has almost 4 million views. So obviously I'm like a big
not
deal.
his literal head, figurative.
No, I didn't have to shut him down. I was trying to give him some direction because, I have a relationship with him, so I know how to work with him. And I also, like, even though I was not directing, I was sort of directing the action when we were shooting action. Yeah. So we have someone who I have not met who's an adult who, thankfully, she seemed to have no problem to swing at this kid, which is great. But he's so funny. He's like, he's a karate student of mine, and he kept wanting to get into a back stance. I was like, your little character is not a black belt here, okay? Your character is just a kid. You're not fighting. And it's like I don't want to give too much about, because I don't know how much Nathan or whoever is given about the thing, but it's like aliens are trying to abduct like human children. Okay. And so they're like kind of holding them, and they're trying to bring them to put them on this platform to beam them somewhere else. And he like has a moment of being like, let go of me, And then the alien person is like, wham, smacks him across the face. There actually was a lot of business that he had to do and a lot of beats. He had to be like grabbed, picked up, walk 1, 2, pull, line, get hit, that's already not easy. And, even for people who've done it a lot, the timing, knowing where the camera is and stuff. And he was holding this little thing. So then gets hit, gave a look back, be dragged the rest of the way. And he was holding this kind of like almost blanky type thing and then drop it at a specific moment. That's a lot of beats for even an adult. We tried to get the whole thing in one take.
Oh, wow.
It was going to be cut up too, but we wanted him to walk through all of those beats. So to me, I understand, even if this was an adult actor, even if this was an adult film star.
Sure.
We need to...
Adult film star is not the words you were looking for.
What do you mean? An adult who does films, right?
Yeah, adult film
star. An adult film actor. What am I saying wrong here?
You were
too close to the other
Maybe you were
thing.
too Christian sometimes.
I saw Kirk. He was like, well, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Yeah, it might have been too close to the other thing. You were...
I'm sorry, just kidding. Bad joke. Yes, I was joking.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
But he, that's like a joke that my wife hates that I do. I'm like, I'm an adult. I was like, I'm an adult. I'm an actor. I'm an adult film actor. And she's like, just please don't say that. Don't say that in front of people. So, sorry, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
So I'm trying to walk him through all this action. And it's not like we have all day to do just this one, sequence. So I know that like, if we get 85-90% of what I want, that's going to be a success. So we're doing the thing, and then someone kind of stepped in who, again, just from a department that really had no business trying to give direction to this young actor, to say, hey, like, you need to do, and was trying to tell him, you have to say your line right at the moment that you pull your arm or whatever. And I had to just jump in and kind of shut it down real quick. And sometimes there's no nice, easy way to do that. So I kind of had to be like, actually I got like, just kind of like make it more about me. Like, I got this right now, rather than being like, what are you doing or something. And it's not and the thing is, in that kind of context, it has nothing to do with whether or not it's a good note or it's a good direction. I just know you can't have too many voices. Like sometimes things have to come from just one place. And I also know he's already close to getting in his head because he's thinking about all these different beats. And if he has to think about like, I have to say my line only when I do, I was like, if so, great. If not, great. So it was one of those moments where it was like, sometimes there isn't time to be like as maybe thoughtful as you would want to be with something like that. Like, we're here, we only have a limited amount of time on set. Like, sometimes you have to be willing to like, hey, I gotta shut that down and move on to the next thing. And as a person who in my general life, I have a very difficult time setting boundaries with people. I'm working on it in therapy, don't worry about it. I think, you're welcome. I find a lot of freedom, and I have found a lot of freedom being on set, because to me, we all should be on the same page of like, we're here to make the best thing. So like, let's not take it personally. Like that's just how it feels to me. Like if that happened to me, I'd be like, that you think You know what I mean? Like, we're all here to make this thing the best that it can be. But I think that tends to happen just because everyone's got ideas, you know? And like I ended up talking to the person afterwards and saying, like, I always want to hear an idea, right? Like, I'm never gonna say no to someone being like, hey, I've got a suggestion about this. But to just step in and try to like give that direction yourself, you know, I think is gonna throw things off more likely than help anything. Like, so I try to not shut down and be like, hey, you could come talk to me, and then I can pass that along if I think it's something that's worth passing along. But
sounds like the AD should have been telling people stuff. Tristan, how would you shut someone down on set? Let's make that'll be a good capper for first part one. Tells us a lot about you guys.
Honestly, I'm still working on it a little bit too. Going to therapy as well.
I don't care who wins the election. I'm not going to therapy. Michael Shea. 2 weekends ago on SNL.
Very nice. Oh, yeah. No, I do think it's very important to hear people's opinions if they have it, especially creatively. If someone has an opinion on the shot, cool, but please make sure you know what you're talking about. There are times where I'm on set and people haven't read the shot list or they haven't read the script. They're just looking at the shot that we are currently doing. And they're like, what if we did it like this? I'm like, that literally doesn't make sense to what we're trying to do. Well, this is what I would do. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I'm happy to work on that project once you get it started. So
I like that.
I'm definitely open to hearing people's opinions, but at the end of the day, it is the director who is saying, at least for our short films, action and cut. And once the day is done, everyone goes home and they couldn't care less about the project. Whereas the director, they're actively thinking about, oh, I completely forgot that shot, or that shot doesn't even make sense because the character walked in through a door and now they're coming in through a garage. Like, it doesn't make sense. And only the director is, for the most part, thinking about that overall vision. Whereas I think people do have good intent when they're like, hey, what if this happened with this shot? Like, what if they were drinking? I'm like, yep, that makes sense. But actually, the character's sober, so it doesn't make sense.
None of this would happen on a professional set because, not that we're not professional in what we're doing. I know you both aspire to be more than hobbyists and are based on, you've done work for money.
Yeah, we're working on stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
there's a permeable line between what is hobby sometimes and what is actual work. And a short film's never going to make money unless you crack that YouTube algorithm or something else. So just pointing out that that's something I noticed. We had somebody else on the podcast, Kirk, keep me honest here, who there's like a lot of support sometimes for what everyone's doing. Oh, that's great. So great. And then maybe that doesn't lead to the best environment for people knowing when to insert thoughts or understanding process. That's kind of what I'm hearing from the parallel between your experiences, it sounds like.
There's definitely, I hate to throw some of these phrases out, but like a chain of command or a hierarchy.
No, those are efficiency time.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
That's respectful to everyone.
Obviously, we're working on a shot. The DP, I'll ask their opinion. Sound after the shot's done, I'm like, hey, how's that working? AD sometimes if I'm a little confused. Coming up as a PA, I know the urge to be like, oh, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this happened?
That's a great PA voice.
Because I've been on commercial sets as a PA, and I'm like, oh, that actually doesn't make sense to me. I've only been here for 2 hours. And I try, and most of the time when I get PAs on my set, they are my friends. Like, I'm aware of them. So if they want to say something to me, cool. But there is a decent amount of time. It goes in one ear and out the other. If it happens to catch, fantastic. If not, the film will live on. I listen to Keys. I ask Keys' opinion, and if it's not a key person, if it's an assistant or a PA, unfortunately, we gotta keep on going because we can't have 20 voices on one shot to be like, oh, that was good. I'm like, yeah, I know. Let's move on.
As frustrating as that, just in small experiences can be, I think it would be even more frustrating to be on the kind of big set where somebody wants to adjust an item that technically qualifies as a prop, but maybe they're in wardrobe, or you know what I mean? And it's like, no, you're literally not allowed to touch that. We have to go get the other person. That would be a nightmare to me. I would take people stepping outside of their bounds and me having to check it rather than everything being so delineated that it's like you literally... No, the gaffer is not allowed to touch that light because the electrician has to touch. And I've not had these experiences personally. I've heard people describe them.
Real quick?
You got it.
I just want to point out this scene on Venom right here.
We're watching Venom.
Do you hear that? Plane.
There's a plane.
The plane
and
just
it
went
makes
down.
I don't mean to interrupt.
That was
but
crazy.
It'll be relevant to the conversation later.
We're just gonna keep teasing just the plane.
Yeah,
That timing was crazy.
Yeah, Eddie Brock Venom is on the top of this building, and a plane comes by, and that immediately shuts the symbiote Venom down, and Eddie is powerless.
I'm going to push back before we even get there and just say that sometimes people get more of their sea legs over time. And so what might throw you off early on doesn't throw you off as much in the future. This relates to what you were just saying about being a PA on a commercial set and knowing from your other experiences, oh, wait, maybe just because I don't understand something doesn't mean that somebody here hasn't put in time, money, and effort to why we're all here today.
I want to piggyback on what you just said, kind of. I understand that there can be a difference because, and we'll talk about it later, but in Venom 3, Venom is on a plane. He is on the side of a plane.
It's in the trailer,
and nothing is happening.
He got better.
I'm so happy.
So there's different sound properties. If you're closer to something, it might sound different than the high frequency of something that you're further away from. So there potentially could be that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no,
earlier,
not at all.
So that's just
No,
what I point
you
out.
guys are so
I got
polite.
so excited that you were like, yes, the same
No,
thing.
because
Yeah.
when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, I hope they explain that.
Yeah.
There's a lot that was cut out of The Last Dance, I'm sure, that maybe the deleted scenes will justify that for you. I don't know.
Yeah, the Zack Snyder cut's gonna make it a lot better.
Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut's going to
Okay,
be
Snyder was
12
Venom.
hours long.
I could potentially be into that.
Oh, yeah, because he believes in gods, and he's kind of a, what do you call that, Nietzsche type person who believes in superhumans.
A what?
Like, you know how Nietzsche believed in, like, there are some people...
Are you saying niche?
Niche? I like calling him Nietzsche. 'cause I'm
Friedrich
dumb.
Nietzsche?
Friedrich Nietzsche? Nietzsche?
Nietzsche. Yeah.
Wait, are you... Yeah, Nietzsche. Wait.
It's Nietzsche. I heard neat cheek the first time. And I was like,
Nietzsche?
You were like saying two different. You were saying two things that like.
I was saying Nietzsche.
yeah,
Okay,
Friedrich
now-
Nietzsche.
now you
Spell it, but I know there's a Z in there.
Never
But you
read the
said
man,
Nietzsche.
but I've heard other people
I thought
talk
that's what
about
you were
him.
saying.
I said yes. I had to read it for AP English in high school.
Flex.
Yeah. I wanted to flex my AP English in this conversation.
Relationship to comic books. Yeah, Spider-Man, one and only. He was always the main guy. There'd be times where in like middle school and high school, my mom would drive me to the comic book shop even if it was like 40 minutes away, and I would grab every single title that was like Spider adjacent.
Whoa.
So here, let me just name off some. I know you got some people asking.
Let's go.
I am.
We got Amazing Spider-Man. We got Peter Parker, the Sensational Spider-Man. They didn't have Spectacular Spider-Man at the time, but don't worry, I watched it. Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Miles Morales Spider-Man, Venom, Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. So it just kept on going on because that was just a character and characters I just really loved. I eventually got into like Batman, Flash, all these Image comics like Invincible and Saga. I love all of them, but it was always Spider-Man.
What year are we talking here when you first get into comics? Just for people to...
Year.
2000s? 2010s? 2000s? It sounds
I would say like two, because I was always like, as a kid growing up, it was always like the Spider-Man movies were playing and the TV shows and the video games. I did all that. But I think I consistently read Spider-Man around, I would say around 2009. That's when I had like a subscription, like an issue came into me. But then I wouldn't go to the comic book shop until like 2012. And I still go through some back issues and try to find some stuff. I know what my very first comic book issue was. I don't know the number, but I know what it was. It was Amazing Spider-Man, 1,000 Ways to Die, which was a 6-part arc. And the cover was so cool. It's Spider-Man ripping off the red suit and there's a black suit underneath. And that began the arc that created the character Anti-Venom.
Oh, yeah.
And Anti-Venom was amazing, and that's also who Eddie Brock turns into later.
Oh, when he gives up Venom, or...
Yeah, because he got cancer at the time, but that got retconned, which happens significantly a lot. But Anti-Venom is just the white palette version of Venom. He has all the same powers, but it's not a living symbiote, and he can also cure any disease and kill any symbiote. And if Spider-Man gets near him, Spider-Man's powers go out.
And doesn't Flash Thompson get the Venom at some point?
Flash Thompson, Spider-Man's bully, does become Agent Venom.
Yeah,
because he joined the military and then he lost his legs and then he got put into the Venom program. And Agent Venom is such a kick-ass character. He's amazing. He just looks like a cool version of Spider-Man, but then when he gets angry, he becomes more Venom-ish.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately he passed away when Norman Osborn, the Red Goblin at the time, which is a Green Goblin Carnage combination,
I remember that.
killed him. In Amazing Spider-Man, I want to say 800, but I could be wrong about
But he
that.
comes back then because of the King in Black. Sorry, David. What's your relationship to comic books?
All right, this is going to be. You ready for this answer? Ready for me to top that answer?
Tell me
That
what
was
you
a
were doing on the
phenomenal
East
answer.
Coast when you were a young lad.
I have not one time in my life opened a comic book and read it.
Excellent.
And not for lack of wanting to. I was not allowed to
wow.
when I was a kid, which was, something information I took quite begrudgingly. One of my best friends, though, he was like super comic book nerd, and I would literally, when I hung out with him, he'd just basically tell me about the most recent comic. And so I was like, he was like spinning yarns that I was like, this is insane. Everything you're just,
Like webs?
They're actually called webs. You don't really know what you're talking about. No, but we would like debate, like, cause I was aware of a lot of different superheroes and stuff, even though I wasn't allowed to read the comics or whatever. But he would essentially like describe different superheroes to me and what their powers were, and then we would debate who would win in a fight. And I'd be making my decisions based on just the information that I got from my best friend. He like described the Flash, then described the Hulk, and then tell me why the Flash could kill the Hulk. And I was like, you're absolutely an ass. Like, there's no way that could happen.
To be fair,
Okay,
that is exactly the same conversation that two people with like 20 years of comic book experience could have.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
no, the Flash would win because he can actually travel back in time before Bruce Banner turned into a Hulk and snap his neck. But then the Hulk person would be like, oh, well, the Hulk would be aware of that, and he would actually stop the Flash from doing that because he's so smart and so powerful. Because if you think about it, in Incredible Hulk number 35, Bruce Banner invented a time machine.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like people like can reference all these obscure, issues and different storylines and stuff like that. Mostly, my big exposure to the world of comic book stuff was through movies, and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies were like the first ones that felt like it really popped off. I think like we didn't have TV growing up either, so if we went to my I'm okay. I survived. But we went to
you seem in shape.
Relatively adjusted. Relatively adjusted, yeah. No, but when we would go to my
You
grandparents,
shut people down on set well, I've heard.
Yeah.
Not
But
kids, though.
when we go to my grandparents' house, would all like run to the TV, and I remember seeing like Batman Forever or something, and being like, "This is insane! This is crazy!" So I love the idea of superheroes and stuff like that. And then, you know what? There was a video game. I never really got into playing because we had like the one computer. My older brother was like, I'm going to play this video game now. You're obviously not going to because I'm going to be doing this for hours. I was like, fine, cool. That's what's up. You're in charge. But I would like sit and watch him play video games. And there was a Spider-Man game, and that's where...
Which Spider-Man game we talk? I can start listing them off.
Dude, all I know is the thugs were hilarious in this game.
That's all of them.
And okay, all right, that's all of them. But Venom was in it, and you had to like fight Venom at one point, but then they ended up
in the
teaming
sewer?
up. Yeah, they ended up teaming up.
Spider-Man.
There you go. Okay, Spider-Man.
That's just Spider-Man on PS1. Are they blocky?
Pretty blocky.
They're blocky.
Yeah, it was pretty blocky.
And Venom was a fucking riot in that.
Oh yeah. He was. I mean, he was.
Parker, surf the web, surf the web.
Riot, as in he turns into the
No, he did not turn
sorry.
into Riot. That's an actual character. No,
He was just a
Thank
fun
you.
guy.
At least you knew.
I did get a Venom shirt, and I did it. Okay,
Everyone
well,
did.
I don't have a
my-
Venom shirt. I would like one.
I did it. That was good. I did, yeah.
You
no.
had a Venom shirt?
Yeah, I had a Venom shirt.
Listen.
Now, did you have a Venom shirt or did you have a black suit Spider-Man shirt?
They're
No,
different.
I know it was. Oh, I
They're
don't
not, though.
know.
Well, it's the same symbiote, but it matters.
It's the same.
All I know
logo.
is when I got
I
that
see what you're saying.
shirt, a friend got it for me, and this was when I was like 14, and I like just maybe like 15 because I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I just finally my body started not looking like a very small boy's body, and the Venom shirt, just everyone was like, you look incredible in that shirt. And I was like, I need to only wear this shirt now.
Was it like a compression shirt?
No, but it like just like kind of cut like at the right place on the arms, and had like a little, it made my shoulders look bigger than they were, and I was like, I'm literally the coolest guy that's ever
My
lived
lucky
in this
shirt,
shirt.
yeah.
This
You're
shirt,
still
dude.
there. You're still there.
Do you still have that
Stop,
shirt?
stop. No, I don't. I literally after watching all these movies, I was like, I wish I still had that shirt. I'm sure that I wrecked it at some point, but someone bought it for me because we weren't like allowed to wear superhero stuff when we were younger. Like,
What age did this go until? I'm very
around
curious about
like
this.
probably like 13, 14, 15, I like to say I started getting secularized a
wow.
little bit. But it was a thing in high school that friends would be like, let's see if Dave knows like what the hell this means. And we'd like literally at lunch, it would be like a game would play. If like either people would tell me about stuff or I'd ask questions. I'd be like, guys, I've heard people talking about blowjobs. What does that mean? What does that mean? And then everyone was so excited to be like, let me tell you. Exactly. Literally, that's a question I asked, and everyone laughs uproariously at me because I was like, do you blow? I don't know how off color we can be on this thing, but
yeah, I mean, it's the First Amendment doesn't apply.
This is an explicit podcast.
Explicit podcast, great. I legit was like, so like, is a girl gonna or is someone gonna blow on my dick? That does not even sound like that's going to be nice for me. You know what I mean? Everyone was like,
maybe if it was cold.
Dave's an idiot. But at least I had a cool Venom.
Yeah, like if your dick was cold, they're like, hey, warm it up.
Maybe it was too hot. You wanted to cool it down.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah, because it just was in the oven and we need to cool it down.
Hot, dude. No, but so all that to say, once I finally started getting like just a little bit more freedom to explore these things, I started loving like superhero movies. But that's the medium that because at that age, I just was like, that's almost tough to like get into something that late, to be like 16 and be like, now I'm gonna start reading comic books. Like when a lot of my friends who maybe had in the past were just starting to maybe do other stuff. By the way, you read that comic books literally forever, but I just didn't get into it.
I didn't get into comic books till after college, when I was like, oh, I don't have to read for school now. I can read for fun.
That's almost different because that's like a full renaissance. You know what I mean? Yes. You like went through all of that going into like young adulthood or whatever.
When you graduated college, what year was that?
This is a while ago.
But like what?
Yeah, he's not gonna say
where was the MCU at the time?
Oh, I see. I guess the more important part of this is that I realized I could go to the St. Paul Library because I had moved to St. Paul somewhere over a decade ago, Tristan.
Yeah, I think the MCU has helped with that resurgence of people reading comics. It's like, and they market off that like, oh, okay, Iron Man's going to be a big character. Let's start doing some more Iron Man books.
Yes,
and it has kind of impacted the market, I think, a little bit. Like, okay, well now this is about to happen, so let's make sure the comics reflect that, which I don't think should be the case. But yeah, I remember in middle school, I'd be carrying around like a Spider-Man comic. And like it wasn't like traditional bully, like Wedgie put me in the locker, take my lunch money. But like someone would like just take the book and be like, oh, Spider-Man, right? Yeah, I like this. I'm like, okay, can I get the book back, please? And now we're at a point where everyone knows every superhero because they're just everywhere.
That's an interesting perspective, to be like mocked for that, and then all of a sudden it becomes the coolest, most sensational thing of all time.
And I know those people do not remember ever doing that to me. It was just like this. Actually, there's a period of time in like high school where I stopped doing anything Spider-Man related because I had a hoodie, I had like a backpack, and I would read Spider-Man comics. So people would just like, I don't know, always connect Spider-Man to me. They'd be like, yeah, so let's do this math equation. So like if Spider-Man swung at this, I'm like, why? Or they make it worse, like if it was 2 Spider-Man plus 2 Spider-Man, I'm like, why are you talking to me?
That's actually pretty funny. When you first mentioned bullying makes me so angry. I started getting activated, but then you said that part, and I was like, that actually sounds kind of hilarious.
I just got annoyed.
Like,
I'm like,
if 3 Spider-Man...
I feel like you're just making fun of me at that point.
Wait, there's 3 of you doing something? Because you're Spider-Man? I didn't understand your 3 Spider-Man.
No, like people...
Like a math problem.
People would just connect Spider-Man to me for no reason.
Yeah. Okay.
So you had to like distance yourself.
I literally did Spider-Man No More, where I just tossed all my stuff into like a closet and kept it there for a while, and it really hurt because I'm like, I love
your Spider-Man stuff was in the closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That begs the question: when you took the Spider-Man, have you ever taken it out of the closet? The Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, no, I'm out in the open pride-wise for that.
Yeah,
I'm good. The actual pride came a few years later.
Years later, that makes sense.
Wait, so because we're in the Venom section and have been I haven't been checking.
Wait, can I make one more Spider-Man point? This is actually something like kids fucking love Spider-Man because he is the coolest. Thank you. But I have this student who I know loves Spider-Man. And I teach martial arts, by the way.
We figured we picked that up when you said karate student earlier.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. So he loves Spider-Man. I know he loves Spider-Man. There's this girl in class that he maybe, kind of likes a little bit.
How old are these kids?
He's probably, I have a tough time with ages. So literally sometimes, like my boss would be like, how old is this kid? I'm like, I don't know, 9, 15. I couldn't tell you. I'm starting to get an idea. I think he's probably like
Wait, don't you
8.
teach these kids?
I know.
Do you not have like paperwork?
Aren't they delineated by age for the classes, or is it just ability? In their martial arts?
There's like groups of ages. You know what I mean? So it's not like just 9, just
Could
10.
a 9-year-old kick a 15-year-old's ass with the right training?
No, not at those ages. No.
A 9-year-old couldn't kick a 15-year-old's ass?
I'd like to watch
The difference between 9 and 15. Okay, I'm talking is the 9-year-old Shaquille O'Neal and the 15-year-old like someone who
Kevin Hart.
Okay, sure. I don't know.
Like small person.
Like for the most part, 9 to 15. That's just when like some of the bulk of the physical changes are happening, and you just see a huge difference in those ages. He's probably like 8. This girl's probably like 12, but he just has one of those like she's like starting to get a little pretentious. She's awesome, by the way. She's great. But she's like talking about, I think I'm going to try to read Jane Austen. Like that's the energy she's bringing. And she loves saying that all comic books, but Spider-Man specifically, is overrated. She loves saying Spider-Man's overrated. This kid, I've seen, he's got Crocs and he's got like little Spider-Man buttons on him and stuff.
This king
pins
deserves
and stuff.
better.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And literally, she has said it enough that I saw him, I overheard him saying to another kid, he was like, yeah, Spider-Man is overrated. And I was like, no, don't let her take this away from you, dude.
I wish someone did that for me.
This episode of Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers continues Wednesday.